from patchy, rusty, sad carbon steel to a clean, dark, freshly seasoned pan. One of the annoying things with polished carbon steel cookware is that sometimes seasoning just doesn't want to bond properly. You build a layer of polymerized oil, also known as seasoning, but then it comes on and off after you cook a few times. And that patchy seasoning leaves the steel exposed to humidity. And therefore, many times we get rust. And that's why sometimes it feels that these pans demand constant seasoning rituals and babysitting. So I had this Strata pan sitting there looking at me saying like, "Mate, I need some love." Patchy seasoning, we had a few rust spots, and one of them actually was starting to pit the steel, which was a little bit concerning for me because the cooking surface of this pan, which is carbon steel, is very, very thin. And underneath we have aluminum. So if a pitting is big enough to get into aluminum, we may get aluminum leaching in the food, which is not good. We are far away from there, but that was something that was in my mind, needed attention sort of quickly. So I jumped into it. But I wanted to do this with as little effort as possible. I just can't dedicate days to rescue a carbon steel pan. And the whole idea of cooking with this cookware is that they should serve us instead of becoming a liability, right? Anyway, so all in all, this should take less than 20 minutes of hands-on work, with a small caveat at the end that is entirely up to you. Let's get cooking! Hey, I'm Papa Mao. I'm here to encourage and help people transition away from non-stick cookware as a way to care for their loved ones and for the environment. In this channel, I show how easy it is to cook with carbon steel and cast iron cookware. I share my experience as an everyday dad cook and as a weekend outdoor warrior. Welcome! Okay, so first I wanted to get this pan as close to factory settings as possible. Therefore, I grabbed my trusty Easy Off. This is always my tool of choice for stripping all seasoning. It really makes it a lot easier. Now, Easy Off is caustic, so please wear protective gear and do this safely. I left it overnight, and after a quick rinse, most of the old seasoning came off very easily. But the pan wasn't looking great. Now watch this. Because Easy Off is highly caustic, I like to neutralize it with a little bit of vinegar. And this is where the magic happens. See that dull gray color? The vinegar starts bringing the steel back to life. It goes from sad and cloudy to shiny again. There's a little bit of rust in there, rust pitting. I don't pretend to be able to remove that. That's actually damage in the steel. So that's rust damage. But it's good enough, like with no effort at all. Now for the bottom of the pan, which is stainless steel, I had a different plan. Bar's keeper's friend and this small ring chainmail. Now we'll use our old friend, bar keeper's friend, just to remove this. You know, this is really ugly, and a little bit of there as well. And honestly, these small ring chainmails are a complete game changer. I use them for dishes, chopping boards, carbon steel pans, and even to clean my cooktop. Everything. Because the rings are so small, they have much bigger contact area compared to the normal rings chainmails. Therefore, if you use them gently, they clean really, really well without attacking the surface and causing scratches. And look at that, our pan is looking handsome again. Pretty close to factory, eh? Alright, now a small break to thank the sponsor of today's video, me. This is Yegan. It's one piece of 3mm thick nitrided carbon steel. Nitriding makes the steel rust resistant, so you don't need to go through all the drama we're going through in this video. And please, for the record, Strata is a great pan. I love it. Rust is not a Strata problem. It's just something that happens with traditional carbon steel, and it's been like that for many decades or centuries. The gun is also a heavier pan, which means it has huge thermal mass, so it's ideal for searing proteins and even for long, steady cooks, as it holds on to heat and cooks very smoothly. So, as you can see, both pans are very, very different value propositions, and I think they would complement really, really well in anyone's kitchen. There are different tools for different jobs. All right, let's get back to it now. Now comes the real trick, the vinegar bath. The Strata holds around 2 liters of volume, so I went with 1 liter of vinegar and 1 liter of water. That's a 50-50 solution. Then I let it simmer for 5 minutes, and look at the color change. It's crazy. The whole cooking surface went to dark gray, and that's the vinegar etching the steel, giving the seasoning something better to grab onto. So then we rinse it well and dry it completely. This is very important so you don't get flash rust. And then straight into seasoning. Now I wanted to do the stovetop method because I didn't have much time. With one cloth, yeah. And then with another one, a clean one, we will remove it, okay? Until it feels dry to the touch. And now I'm gonna heat it up until it stops smoking. And I have a confession to make. As I'm quite obsessive with things in general, I just wasn't happy with the color I got after a couple of rounds. So I ended up doing like 5 sessions over several days to get here. Now, to be completely honest, this is only cosmetic. Your pan will cook exactly the same with 1 or 2 layers of seasoning or 50. In my experience and my personal opinion is that seasoning's main job is to protect the steel from rust. A couple of layers are enough for that, and there are plenty for cooking. Having multiple layers will make your pan just look darker. That's all. I totally get that some people get obsessed with seasoning. That's personal preference. For me, I don't really enjoy the process. All the smoke involved is a little bit dangerous if you do it on the stove top. So I have a very practical relationship with seasoning. The easier, more practical and safer way of seasoning is the oven method. It takes longer, but it needs almost no supervision. A thin layer of oil, wipe it almost dry, and then off it goes into the oven, normally upside down, just to avoid any drippings and stains in the seasoning. And there you go. And this is the final result. Sexy, hey? Now, will it cook a fried egg? Let's see. I will add 1 teaspoon of oil, just cover the surface of the pan well. Off we go. Ah, broke the yolk again. Hopeless. But look, not bad, okay? And that's it. If you found the video valuable, please consider subscribing. It's free and it's a really, really good way to help us because you're telling the algorithm that our content is valuable for people. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.